Hello everyone. I'm going to talk to you today about the 2-second window that traders have in which to think sufficiently through the information in front of them on the charts and take a decision. This is particularly prominent, this time frame, and particularly relevant on the short-term charts, so particularly relevant for scalping. You have about 2 seconds in total to make a decision over whether to trade or not. Now, it's not quite the type of decision that you think it is, because you will have spent time looking at a chart probably for several minutes or longer before a signal candlestick closes. And so you will have an idea of what's going on in the market if you're reading the price action like I teach people to do. And when you've done that, then really what you're waiting for is you're waiting for the close of a signal candle. And at that time, you know, there's an instant basically between when a candlestick closes, one candlestick closes, and when another one opens. So this is the same period of time that you have on a 1 minute chart as you do on a 2, 3, 5-minute chart, 10-minute chart, 15, all of the charts. There's an instant between the candlesticks. And when the signal candlestick closes, that's the time where you know that there's a possible trade or not on. Now, two things about that is that the last 10 or 15 seconds of a candlestick tend to be the most volatile part of the candlestick, so there can be big movements. And on a 1 minute candlestick, for example, you might be looking at a big green candlestick with 10 seconds to go, and when the candlestick closes, then you're looking at something that's significantly smaller in its body than a big green candlestick. So this is the type of candlestick that I've been talking about in recent videos. This is my standout reward to risk candlestick. You can see that there's a tiny tail on the bottom. So the candlestick opens here, goes red, and then goes up. So you might have something like this with 10 seconds to go, and then it might close down here. If you make the decision with 10 seconds to go over what's going to happen, then you can end up in a position where you're taking a trade and the candle looks good, but when it closes, it's not good. You've got to wait for the close of the candlestick, and once you've got the close of the candlestick, you'll see the position of the candlestick in relation to the other things like EMAs on your chart, and you've got a period of 1 to 2 seconds to make a decision over whether or not that is a trading opportunity. So it's not very long, but it's enough time. You know, with practice, you can do this. With practice and the know-how, you can do this. And that's what I'm doing on this planet. I'm here to help people to get better. And, you know, I'm hoping that these videos are things that are helping you to get better at your trading. And, you know, we all want to make a bit of money, and there's plenty of money in these type of candlesticks. Okay, so this is the red version. So this candlestick opens green and then goes down, and when it closes down here like that, this actually is the perfect candlestick. Tiny risk, stop going above here, so it opens, goes green, stop goes in, and then your entry is just as you see a little bit of red appearing, and price goes down. Very, very rarely do you get one closing on its low like that, and very often there's a little bit of a tail on the bottom. I'm going to show you in a minute a candlestick that looks like that in a trading environment, and you'll see how quickly this happens. So the first thing is, where does the previous candlestick finish? Are all your, trading indicators in place? Are all the signals in place to give you context for your trade? And then this happens. It goes green, then goes red, and that happens quickly. It should happen quickly. If it dithers about up here for ages, then it's not probably going to work. But anyway, if the signals are right, then you've got a trading opportunity. If it does that at the beginning and then goes red, that's the trade. And you've got 2 seconds roughly to make that decision. We're going to have a look at the charts now, just to show you that practice makes perfect. Like anything in life, practice, 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 and you get better. And actually, like any other decision, these decisions become like natural decisions. You don't need 2 seconds. You don't even need 1 second. It's there in front of you and you're waiting. And that's the key to this. So let's have a look at these this price action, and we'll go through the 2 second window together. Big green candlestick here on the trading time frame with a few seconds to go, and big green candlestick on the master time frame as well. So on the master time frame, price is stuck in the river of value, and it's coming up to the 20 EMA, having gone through here, come back down, and it's gone up. Okay, that there was on a previous 1 minute candle here, was a tiny little flick. So this candlestick closed through the river of value to the upside, and price came back, went down and rejected up. That was a trading opportunity in there, and between that one closing and that one opening, that happened in about 2 seconds, and then price started going up. And if that had been taken, the risk was down here, the entry was here, and if it was left until the end, then the reward was up here. So a good 2-3 to 1 reward to risk. So that's dinner on the table. Dinner on the table time. This is a big green candlestick on the master time frame, and it's kind of come out of nowhere. The previous candlesticks came down, closed below the river of value, and then it's just gone straight up through the river of value. So that on the master time frame wasn't a trade. That there had all the signals for a trade, so that was a good one. Okay, so we're coming up to the close of this candlestick up here, and you'll be able to see in a minute that the last few seconds of the candlestick are, as I said, quite volatile. It was looking like a big green candlestick, still looks, like it's going to be a green candlestick, and closed near its high, and then the big green candlestick starts getting smaller. And that's what can happen there. That's what can happen towards the end of a candlestick. Okay. What's happening here is that price is reacting to the 20 EMA, and you can see it's now almost below the 20 EMA on the master time frame. So you have to wait, for it to close to trade on, on the trading time frame. If you're using this as the trading time frame, you have to wait for this candlestick to close. We're using this particular chart, so we have to wait for it to close. Now, as it stands at the moment, we've got a new candlestick here, and it's nowhere near the river of value, and it might go down after this. My brain is starting to, as you will notice, to make expectations. And that's what you have to watch out for. These mental expectations, they're so vital because your hand will be sitting on the mouse going, that's a doji above the river of value, it's going to go back down. But there's no trade in that, no trade at all, and you have to get a hold of your mind and say, we're only trading this system, and this system says no. So notice the time in between the candlesticks closing and the candlesticks opening. Notice there's very, very little time. So this candlestick, this 5-minute candlestick, eventually it closed above the 20 EMA and started going up. Okay, so that, if I was paying attention, could possibly have been an entry down here. Tiny little wick. Let's see whether we can go back to that. Right, so here's the previous one closing and that one opening, and it goes up and down, that leaves the wick at the bottom and then starts going up. There's the entry there. Okay, all the signals are in place. You can't see them all, but they're all in place, looking good. That has obeyed the law of my trading system. So brilliant. And there you go. There's the trade. Let's see this one close and the next one open. Now there's no trade from up there because price is going up. It's miles above the river of value there. No trade. If at all, it was short, but not with my system, it wasn't. Okay. Tiny little wick on the top. That came very quickly, didn't it? And then it started going down. This closed close to the 8 EMA, and that did leave a little wick down the bottom. However, it also left a little wick at the top as well there, and that's danger signals. You don't know what's going to happen with this candlestick next. Will it bounce up or will it come back down? That's that's part of the strategy. But we have to wait for this candlestick to close. So that candlestick closed below the 8 EMA and the next one's opened, and there's no trade on this one at this point in time. See, there's a wick on the top and a wick on the bottom at the moment. Could go either way at this stage. This is an interesting candlestick. So that one closed, but it closed just below the 8 EMA. That wick, let's just go back to that, came in quite quickly. Watch this. The bulls are buying, 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 and very quickly it went up. But by the time it started going up, it's left a big long tail. Look at the size of the previous candlesticks. If this candlestick is of a similar length and that goes green, it's going to finish about here. And that's not going to give you a good reward to risk, because your risk would be there. Your risk would be down here and your reward up here. Okay, so you might get 2 to 1 out of that one, or you might not. So not even just about 1 to 1. So that's why it wasn't a good trade, because the wick was too large. Looking for signals at this stage. I mean, there is no trade at all here anytime soon, but here we go. But I'm looking at this big red bar following the green bar, this big red bar following the green bar, and we may be in a position shortly to start looking at shorts. To wait for this candlestick to close. See where it closes. Last few seconds on this candlestick now. Nice big green candlestick and eaten up by the bears selling. Nothing on at the moment. Let's just go forward a little bit. All right, this one has completed now. It's gone down here through the ATMA. It's gone up, come back down, touched the ATMA and rejected up. So at the beginning of this candlestick, it was in perfect position for along with the stop down below the bottom here and the entry just as the candlestick goes green. No wick, as you can see on the bottom of that one, so you have to use the wick on the previous candlestick. Just about worth it, that, with, you know, that being the risk, and it's looking like it would give you 2, 3 to 1. Just waiting for it to finish right now. There. Not quite as good after the last few seconds. And incidentally, you should have, just up here, I've got a, in this top right hand corner, I've got my clock with seconds on it on the computer. And it does sync perfectly with these charts. So always a good idea to have that there, no matter what chart you're trading, so that you know when a candle's going to end, and when a candle ends, you've got your 2 seconds. Right, interesting. So that's now excellent. There. Okay. That was your 2 second window for a potential short. Okay, see where this one finishes then. So if it finishes down there and at least below the 8 EMA, maybe a trading opportunity coming up at the close of this candle. And that was a big bite of red that was taken there by the bulls. Okay, so price has made its way down now on the trading time frame below the 8 EMA, and if it closes down below the 20 EMA as well, I'll be looking for a little tail to go up and touch the EMA and then turn red, and that would be an entry candle there. So green, not quite high enough. There, perfect. It's touched the EMA now, gone red. That's an entry short. So these entries are firmly already in my brain. And it's by practice and by looking at the signals that I give in my courses that you can then affirm it by looking at the live price action yourself and program them into your mind so that you don't have to think. You notice I'm talking as well as making these decisions immediately, and that's where you want to get to. It's possible for you. And there are fantastic reward to risk trades on every chart in the world and every time frame in the world. You just have to wait for them. You know, there was nothing really in here, and then after about 10 minutes we got a good big candlestick, and it appeared just at the perfect opportunity time. All right, guys. Well, I'm hoping that that was useful for you. These 2 seconds are vital. The 2 seconds are vital, but you want to have it so that you don't have to think through lots of different factors in those 2 seconds. You're just basically using the 2 seconds to press the button to trade. You get your finger in position, get your finger, you know, the mouse in on the right button, buy or sell. You make sure the price is right. That's what you use the 2 seconds up for, and that's all you've got in time. Okay, so time's precious in trading, and there is plenty of wasted time in trading, and you need to make sure that these decisions are primed in your mind for you so that you don't stress too much, because stress in trading leads to terrible decisions, and we're into good decisions. So this is the type of candlestick that we're looking for. You saw how the wick came in and then it went down. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. My name's Anthony Beardsall, and I'll catch you on the next video. Do go ahead and subscribe and ask any questions that you want using the forms below. All right, see you on the next one. Bye.